Oh, what is good, my Quick Crypto family and my Coin Factory family? Back again with your Casper Crypto live stream, and boy, oh boy, have we seen quite a flurry of announcements and just posts regarding Casper coming out today, out of the forefront, which is ultimately a massive testament to the title of this stream today, being that Casper is about to pop off. Of course, the price doesn't really reflect that right now. Casper's currently down 3.26% on the daily time frame, valued at 7.29 cents. It, for the most part, is still respecting the previous pattern we saw way back in April after Trump's Liberation Day, where Casper was consolidating for about a week or so before breaking above 8 cents. It's still respecting that, whilst it is valued at where it's at right now. But ultimately, understand once more that we are in a Bitcoin dominant market. As we are in a Bitcoin dominant market, what Bitcoin does, the markets will follow. Right now, Bitcoin dominance is at 65.46%, and Bitcoin's down 1.43% on the daily time frame. Now coming back down to $105,000. I don't think there's anything particularly that's caused Bitcoin to come back, not anything negative. Probably just, again, the smart money in the world trying to cause a small liquidation, a small pull before inevitably sending Bitcoin much higher in accordance to the M2 money supply. That's just a Bitcoin's meant to be taking off very shortly, and a lot more to come out. Of course, we've heard some very good macro updates, or for the most part I believe reassuring and optimistic macro updates regarding the Fed, regarding ETFs as well, which is why I believe this is a small pullback before a potential major takeoff. We'll get into all of that in a moment, but of course the Casper updates equally have been very insightful from Bitcoin maximalists who have originally said Casper's a scam, as they always do, to then doing just a small bit of research, just a little bit of research, and now they're like, you know what, my mistake, I made a mistake, I'm not going to look more into Casper. That in itself is already a big deal, from posts regarding what Casper's already achieved to how it is quite comfortably the second best proof of work, in accordance to, the response regarding Litecoin in that post that was made earlier. We've got updates regarding the Rusty Casper, exchange listings and whatnot, and potentially some signs that the Casplex mainnet is on the horizon, and much more. We'll get into all of that throughout the stream, and equally this interesting post regarding Robinhood's recent announcement, which myself, Greg and some others were talking about it a little bit more so in the Coin Factory free Discord server. So again, if you want to be a part of more discussions, learn more about crypto and Casper, check out the free community. Links are down below in the description and on my homepage here as well. Because we spoke about was very insightful, and once more testifying that what Robinhood are doing, great for them, they'll see a lot more adoption, but they have a shortcoming of being on the Arbitrum and on the Ethereum chain. Casper would solve that issue. We'll get into all of that in this stream, so as always, if you enjoy these content, predominantly daily content, then leave a like, share with your friends, and subscribe for more. And welcome back, family, to the channel. Crypto goes to first indeed, brother. Thank you very much, and yes, definitely take a seat and smash that like button, you know the deal. And it's quiet because everyone's probably going to see Juventus. Oh, is it Juventus Real Madrid today? Damn. I have not been, because there's nothing like, it's not in the football season just yet. And even then, we remember months back where I was still streaming on the Champions League final days. Like, it was terrible for me. I should really be more aware of that, because I do enjoy watching football, but I was not aware of the Juventus Real Madrid game. For me right now, it's 8 p.m, so I'm guessing you mean 9 p.m. where you're based at. Yeah, it should be a good game, hopefully. I suspect that Real Madrid should win that, but again, who knows. I'll try and stay more vigilant to the football fans out there who do want to tune into this content, as well as to your football fun as well. But what's up, Go Super? Thank you very much for tuning in. And you too, DD man, welcome back. Yourself, brother, welcome back to the stream. Dv, it's me again, brother, welcome back. Great to have you here again, man. Watching millionaires run, no. Now I'm running after millionaires. Millions. Hey, you know what, DD? Very insightful, brother. Yeah, don't watch millionaires running around kicking a football. Now run after millions with crypto and Casper. Indeed. Miko, the bill get passed? So to my knowledge, the bill is still being decided on. There was a recent vote regarding some amendments to some form of bill, which I did see on it, but I haven't got more information, so I'm not properly covering it in the stream. To my understanding, the vote didn't get passed. Now, what that bill is exactly, I'm not completely sure. It might have been the Big Beautiful Bill. I need to double check that. In regards to the stablecoin bill and the Genius bill, this is still in the works, still being decided on, so we don't know about that just yet. We'll probably find some more information about it throughout this month, July, and going into August as well. What's up, Wing Hong, bro? You're doing very, very well, brother. Wee Munya, not yet, soon enough, hopefully, though. Welcome back, Lau, bro. You're doing very well, brother. Kryptoni, Shoopy Doop. Welcome back, my man. You're doing very, very well. Welcome, Mila. Great to have you back again. And Buffalo, you too, brother. Yo, yo, yo to you too. The best proof of work better than Bitcoin. That's the words of many of us here. And equally, Dr. Martin Heisberg believes that Bitcoin is the Casper testnet. He said that repeatedly. Even said it again recently as well. I made a post about it on my Twitter page recently. Once again, the doc has spoken. Any child knows Casper. Bitcoin was the Casper testnet. I mean, when you what's more, he evidently has belief in Casper. That's fantastic, but you've got to understand once more that he is a researcher who is paid to research into crypto projects. So if he is so adamant on this perspective, it's not saying that he's 100% right, because again, even the smartest of people can be wrong at times, but it's reassuring to know that someone who is a very knowledgeable individual. Equally, you've got Nicholas Sismo, who used to work as Binance's head of listing, Binance US head of listing. He's now working for Casper. So you evidently got some people who are in some very high up spaces who are bullish on Casper, which is a very, very big deal. But that being said, welcome back again, everyone, to the stream once more. And new to Antonio, greeting friends. So it appears that the ability to purchase Casper via Tangent has been activated on my Tangent wallet. It's just an example of seeing is believing, and news actually coming to pass. Very alpha, very big news indeed. Very big news indeed, yes. So to my knowledge, from what I heard in yesterday's stream when we covered it, apparently the fees are a bit more expensive on Tangent than just going through an exchange. But again, if that is true, then I'd argue that it's just sacrification of how much you're spending in regards to having full utmost security. Because if you're buying it through an exchange, there have been cases where you'll buy something on an exchange and they won't even let you take it out. Especially if you're buying quite a lot, they can be very hesitant about that. So there could be a benefit just buying it for a little bit extra straight through your cold storage. What's next for the Casper ecosystem? Hopefully we'll find out a lot more very, very soon. We'll get to all those posts right here and now. TP, welcome back, brother. You're doing very, very well. That being said, I have to apologise if you do hear a lot of background noise. I've got my fan on full blast. Well, actually, it's not on full blast. I put it down just a little bit for you all so you don't get deafened by the rotating noises. But yeah, if it's too loud again, let me know and I'll turn it off. But it's currently 38 in my room. I'm looking to get an AC courtesy of Kryptoni. Thank you very much, brother. I'm looking to get into it because it is just too hot in this country. It's ridiculous. That being said, let's get into the crypto and Casper news. So first and foremost, we can see, yes, Bitcoin currently $105,500, coming down a little bit, hence why everything else is down as well. Casper is currently down 2.9%. 7.32% on the daily time frame, and once more we're still waiting for Casper to break above that 8 cent zone, being a critical level of resistance. If it could break above that, that would be a very good indicator that Casper will start blowing up, going past 12 cents, 13 cents like it did back here. And I feel like the next time when it does do that, it should be a more confident breakout, because hopefully by that point Bitcoin will be a lot higher in value as well. Although in saying that, we're seeing Casper at a similar level, whereas Bitcoin back in April was all the way down here. So Bitcoin's at a higher price where Casper is at the same price. It's a Bitcoin dominant market. Pretty much every other asset is in a similar spot. You could look at Sui, for example. Sui here in April, and now it's here, pretty much same spot as well. Say April down here. Actually, Say's done very well in that regard, truth be told. Tau was down here, April, and now it's here, so not much of a move either. So pretty much everything is back to the same spot. It's only Bitcoin that's seen a confident rally from Liberation Day up to where it's at, come through between 105 to 110k. And again, hopefully in accordance to the empty money supply, we'll see that breakout fairly soon. Now, we have got some good macro updates I'm going to get to first and foremost before we get into the Casper updates, because I think they are just as important. To start off with, regarding the Federal Reserve, apparently the Fed Chair Jerome Powell says a solid majority at the Fed expect rate cuts later this year, which we do expect, of course. Again, provided we get no black swan events or some sudden, outbreak of some form of war, whether it be trade war, physical war, or recession, we should be seeing rate cuts later this year. There's still, I believe, you'll see at least 2 this year. But Powell did also say he cannot comment, or he cannot say whether July is too soon to consider rate cuts. So that in of itself is nothing major, because it's just reaffirming what we already knew, rate cuts coming this year, and unsure about July. But him commenting on July, you could argue maybe he is considering it. It does depend on the macro news coming out later on. As it's the first of the month now, stay tuned for Friday. Friday we will see I believe it's the unemployment reports. I'm trying to remember. Let me quickly double check that. I've got it in my important dates. It is the unemployment. You see the unemployment data happening on Friday, which will give us an insight on the job market. And if it is, less unemployment, which means we're getting a better job market, that will be a good indicator for, again, seeing rate cuts because the job market's doing very, very well. Of course, there's still a lot of worry right now we've seen a lot of building up of tension recently, but especially between the US government and the Fed, because once more, of course, everybody at this point, even some people within the Fed, as highlighted here as well, they expect rate cuts, they want rate cuts. And we're at all-time highs as well, So if you get rate cuts at all-time highs in, all the financial markets, then it's going to be an absolutely booming economic year for us, definitely. And we are seeing, talks regarding Trump and the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who are saying they're already going to be finding a replacement for Jerome Powell in the coming weeks. That does not mean he's going to be replaced in the coming weeks, but he's going to find a replacement in the next few weeks. And then will he last a full term? We'll have to wait and see. Most likely he will. But if there is a way that, Trump and the administration can prove that Jerome Powell has been purposely neglecting his duty, they could probably remove him early and then get someone who's going to cut rates very, very quickly. And Trump wants rate cuts down to 1%, which would be absolutely insane. Jerome Powell also did have an interview here where he did speak at the ECB forum, where he mentioned that the crypto stablecoins is a positive step and says frameworks is well underway. So again, once more we knew this, but it's reassuring to hear the likes of Jerome Powell, someone who's in such a hard position, who's also been very against Trump, say this as well. Because I say against Trump, it's a matter of perspective. Trump's obviously, got an agenda. He's got his own ideologies of what he wants to happen when and where. And Jerome Powell's taking a slower approach, to put it in a matter. But he has, for the most part, said that the economy is doing well. He's just worried about tariffs. But he does think that the stablecoin bill will be a very good thing for America. So him now saying that and saying the frameworks are well underway is, again, proof of what's about to come to the space, which is really reassuring. And the whole world's about to benefit a lot from these stablecoins. And we're going to see a lot more institutional adoption this year due to the SEC's change in stance and the regulatory frameworks coming through. The percentile chances of us seeing more institutional adoption through ETFs has drastically increased. Of course, we've got Bitcoin, we've got Ethereum. There have been talks of getting some baskets, which is, group ETFs, which we have been seeing. I think the SEC have approved, or they have acknowledged the amendment from Grayscale to turn their digital large cap fund into a public ETF, and their fund consists of Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Cardano, and some of the assets as well, Solana, I believe, as well. So what we're basically just seeing is more ETF finance starting to come through, or chances to come through, rapidly increasing. You've got Litecoin apparently at 95%, Solana 95%, XRP 95%, Dogecoin, Cardano, and Polkadot, and Hedera HBAR and AVAX all at a 90% likelihood of seeing ETFs this year. And then you've got Sui 60%, Tron, Pengu all at 50% as well. Point being is we currently got 2 ETFs. So this market right now is Bitcoin dominance, because that's the main ETF filing we have right now. So just envision what you'll see when institutions probably get involved in the space, and they start, like a candy store, they look at everything in crypto like, oh, I want a bit of that, I want a bit of that. They're going to look at everything else that has ETFs, because ETFs is the main way they get access to it. They'll get into XRP, they'll get into Solana, they'll get into the HBAR, Hedera, they'll get into all the other assets that will get ETF this cycle. There's not confirmation, of course. This is just an updated list from the ETF analyst at Bloomberg, James Seyfarth, who is actually, with respect to the guy, because it's his job, he's been very accurate with predictions of ETF filing so far. So he's 95% chance in seeing SEC approving these. And apparently the SEC is in the early stages of creating a generic listing standard for token-based ETFs in coordination with exchanges, which is also very cool. So from what she's been told, if a token meets the criteria, issuers could skip the 19B-4 process, which is a massive time saver, and file the S1, so the spot listing, and just wait 75 days, and exchange could list it. This approach could save both issuers and the SEC a lot of paperwork and back and forth on comments. What those listing standards will be is still unclear, but some are speculating market cap, trading volume and liquidity are all under consideration. Of course, the spokesperson has declined to comment according to Eleanor Terrett. She's a former Fox Business journalist. She's in a lot of very tight circles. She's a very good source of information that I tend to use quite a lot. So, if you don't follow her, you don't use Twitter. Again, I always will highlight her post. She's very, very insightful. She knows what she's talking about. But again, it's once more an indicator to the significant amount of adoption we're about to see in this crypto space, especially in America, coming through this year and the latter half of this year as well. And again, the institutional alpha documents I've covered with my VIP groups, just highlighting once more, does suggest we're going to see a lot more adoption this year going into 2026, a significant amount of adoption going into 2026 as well. And with the ETFs coming out so late, you could argue there's a potential that we do see a later cycle top, maybe not Q4, maybe in 2026 itself. Again, that's not confirmation, that's speculation. And of course, we'll be playing it by ear, playing reaction to the markets. And of course, I'll be letting my VIPs know ahead of time. So if you want to find out a lot more about crypto, about Casper, once more, what's going on in the space, alpha information, and so much more, trying to get ahead of the game, check out the VIP group, wop.com/coinfactory. We do weekly live streams. We do trade alerts thanks to our working together with BYDFI. It's leveled up as well. So BYDFI also putting a lot of our trade in there as well, which has been generating a lot of money, thankfully. Again, alpha information, educational videos, and much more. If you want to get 7-day free trial as well, join for free. And equally, if you join the VIP, if you join through the affiliate link down below of BYDFI, you can get a 1-month free trial to the VIP as well, as we can see here. Follow the steps in the Get VIP Access channel. Sign up for the affiliate link, deposit $100, and verify your UID, your account here. You will get a BYDFI account, which of course BYDFI, no KYC, no VPN, and it's got regulatory licenses in Canada, the United States, Australia, and many more regions. With the affiliate link, with my account, you can get 15% first deposit cashback, 70% discount on all future trading fees, and you'll get permanent VIP access to the BYDFI channels inside my community, and a 1-month free trial to the Coin Factory executives. So if that interests you, again, all links down below in the description, or equally, if you need extra help with that, reach out to me on Discord, and I'll help you out where I can. But that's the macro. The macro is looking ultimately solid right now, looking very good. The markets aren't necessarily doing a lot, but you could argue that actually the markets are correcting because there's now increasing investor FOMO that we may start seeing rate cuts. Again, I don't think it's very, very high. If I go to the FME chart, or show Fed rate cut chart, type in and see what the predictions are. CME chart's what I meant, CME Fed Watch, not FME. Currently, the predictions as I'm loading on my other monitor suggest we got a 78% chance of not seeing rate cuts. So it's still very, very high, but there's a 21% chance of us seeing at least a 25 basis point cut. So again, we'll have to wait and see what the data comes out. Of course, Friday will be a very, very important one for unemployment, and then we'll see the CPI coming out shortly after that as well, which I'll be covering, of course, with my VIPs on the moment at the time, so we can get ahead of the game, and equally with you all later on as well. But that is, of course, very, very cool to see. Now, in regards to crypto and Casper, we have got a lot of ecosystem updates that are really taking shape right now, and once more, the adoption and understanding of Casper is only going to grow more and more. The price is lackluster. I know that better than anybody else, or not better, as much as you all hear. We're all in this together after all, but this has not changed my perspective of what's coming to Casper in the slightest. We can see here, as I mentioned, and I posted to my and to my community, my free community already. There's individuals, not necessarily a big a channel. I got 2,000 followers, but he seemed to be a Bitcoin maximalist. There's a lot of them out there, of course. Journey from whole coiner to half coiner. Sold half Bitcoin when it hit 100k last year to buy some alt. Expected alt season. I'll be making easy 4-5x in a few weeks, then rotate back to Bitcoin. Let's have a few moments for which altcoins are currently minus 70%. Yet I see why you guys never say to never sell Bitcoin. So once more, this account is basically just saying I sold half my Bitcoin at 100k so I can retain to altcoins for the alt season, and alt's not taking off just yet. So this is why you guys don't sell Bitcoin. He's once more. He's someone who I would imagine is quite early into crypto, because those who believe alt season was going to happen or was going to happen at this point, they are probably following the masses who are telling them otherwise. There are so many indicators that need to take shape for altcoins to take off. The biggest one being the Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is not falling off anytime soon. So altcoins aren't going to pop off anytime soon. And because we're in an institutional cycle for the first time ever, who pretty much only have access to Bitcoin through ETFs, Bitcoin dominance is only going to go up higher and higher as well. Bitcoin has got the main amount of adoption. That's not the same thing for every other cycle. Now, altcoin cycle for me is still definitely going to happen. Either way, I digress. The post here from this Bitcoin maximalist, which I'm not going to pronounce his name because I will definitely butcher that. I just call him V. V says here, this is why we are able to buy Bitcoin for only $107,000. A lot of people who own Bitcoin literally don't understand what they hold. They sell it to people like me and maybe you who've put in 500 hours plus hours studying it. Bitcoin, not crypto. So typical Bitcoin maximalist post. And shout out to Egg here, who just once more says, my man V, have you studied Casper yet? Yes, it's a scam. This is his only response. And I'm like, okay, typical Bitcoin maximalist mentality. Why do you think that? Bitcoin is the only thing that will ever be money. That is just not incorrect, but you can say as you will. Everything else is a gamble. There's a fair enough premise to make. I agree a lot of stuff in this crypto space is a gamble and will likely not pay off. Equally, that's a fair point to make. So I avoid everything else. So ultimately, he is saying here, Bitcoin is the only thing that will ever make money. Everything else is a gamble. So he's not actually studied Casper. He's just said, because Casper's not Bitcoin, he's clumped into everything else in this space that is not Bitcoin, therefore it is a scam. So Casper Guru says, so you didn't study Casper? And he says, you're right. He accepted he was right, he didn't study Casper. I didn't when I posted my ignorant comment earlier. I'm looking into it now and it's interesting. Going to continue studying it, which is really good news. It's good news for two reasons. One, because I love this. I love this because this is an individual who just wanted to, again, Bitcoin maximalist, there's nothing wrong with that. If you believe in what you hold, that's fine. And I said it in my community earlier, there's nothing wrong with that. I'll just pray and hope that those who are going to make an opinion on an asset would have done research into it sufficiently enough to where they have at least an understanding of what they're talking about. When you ask me, my community, you all hear what I think about said asset, whether it be SUI, SAY, XRP, this new AI project, I will give a very, very short rundown looking into it, and I'll tell you always I need to do more research into it because I don't know enough. But based on my original perspective of it, I think this. But again, you need to do more research into it. He's straight up said it's a scam, and then accepted he has actually just not done research into it, and he said he's going to look into more because it's actually interesting. He asked DeepSeek, let's say the network with the same size for both Bitcoin and Casper, which has better technology and will likely become the world reserve currency. Bit of a, very far out question, but again, I think a fair enough question to ask. After giving a lots of comparisons, etc., this was the conclusion. Better technology, Casper. For any use case needing speed or scalability. Better reserve currency, Bitcoin due to scarcity, security, and social consensus. Reserve currencies aren't about tech, they're about credible neutrality and unshakable security. It doesn't matter how good the technology is if there's no social consensus to it. Bitcoin has a 12-year head start. I'm not saying that's not impossible, but it's going to be extremely difficult for Casper to catch up and replace Bitcoin. Again, that's why I choose Bitcoin. That is a good start, and I think it's a fair enough point to make. Either way, he's accepted and he's understood now that in regards to technology alone, Casper is superior. Which is what's, Dot upon Hype have been saying for a while, it is superior. Which is great to us to hear, of course, we know that already, but Bitcoin, of course, has got that head start, which does make it have a big advantage. 95% of the world thinks Bitcoin is a scam, and probably 95% of Bitcoin think Casper is a scam. The network effect and social consensus is extremely important for anything to really take off, even if the tech is better. This is common in the world of business too. A better product doesn't necessarily win, it's about who has better marketing. That is a fair point, and that's been one of the points that the Casper community has been making quite a lot recently as well about, Casper's fantastic of course, but what it does need definitely is good marketing so it can get its name out there properly to attract the big money to then further incentivize the necessity of this product, right? In this case, Bitcoin has literally 1,000 times larger than Casper, which is true. A different size, it will likely continue, and the gap will likely expand as Casper likely trends towards zero against Bitcoin in the long term. Now, that personally, I disagree. But at the same time, for me, he's accepting that Casper has got a good chance. And accepting that Casper is a good asset, it just needs to be able to catch the eyes of the big boys, which is what Tom Polinsky once more was saying a while back as well, a few weeks back. Capital says here, since you're talking about marketing, here's an interesting fact about Casper. There's no official marketing team or official account behind Casper. The marketing is purely community driven, just like Bitcoin in the early days, which is wonderful. And that's what makes Casper interesting to him. So again, it's really good to hear that he's actually taken a bit of an interest into Casper now. And once more, you're going to see, gradually, bit by bit, many Bitcoin maximalists change to have a same approach. 95% of the world think Bitcoin's a scam. They don't understand it. Same Bitcoin think Casper's a scam because they don't understand it. Once they decide to look into it and just do a bit of research, which you can find everything out about it through the Discord or through the GitHub or even through this channel right here, they'll hopefully stop feigning ignorance and start learning more. Wolfie highlights here, again, about the individual who made the post here. And again, just gives all this information here about it. And stated here as well, at the 2025 Web3 Festival in Hong Kong, Tom Polinsky highlighted a unique ability of leaderless networks, and specifically block DAG architectures like Casper, to enhance the reliability and decentralization of oracles. He explained that, unlike traditional blockchains, block data structure allows for real-time decentralized attestations from miners across the network. So again, we pretty much all know this anyways, but it's once more highlighting that Casper has got a unique technological advantage. Will it take off? Again, we'll have to wait and see. But I think one massive selling point for Casper, which is going to likely generate a lot more, is that DagKnight. That DagKnight is unbelievably important, and we send Casper from already being this if Casper's currently at the forefront of Web3, I would argue DagKnight make Casper a Web4. As Web4, a complete different region, world, universe of its own. That's how I perceive DagKnight for what it provides to the space, and something that nothing else in this space has been able to achieve. And I don't think anything else is even remotely close to being able to achieve something like DagKnight. Again, that's my maximalist mentality. I've got information regarding DagKnight and what it's about in my Discord server, so if you want to find out more about it, check that out. Go into the community and type in DagKnight, and you'll see everything in there. DagKnight, DagKnight. You'll find a lot more in there as well. But again, this is what's coming to Casper, and you're seeing the Bitcoin maximalist mentality starting to shift to at least accept Casper as an interesting alternative to Bitcoin, something that's actually interesting, worth looking into, and not a scam. Now, building on that as well, why Casper is about to quote pop off, not just due to more wandering eyes and adoption, it's already what it's achieved. Ethereum apparently just hit a record of 1.45 million daily transactions. The last time that happened was in 2021 in the peak cycle. That's a very good thing for Ethereum, and you'll see a lot more institutional adoption this cycle. But keep in mind as well that Casper did over 16 million transactions on a proof of work, no less, not proof of stake, back in October, following the relaunch of KDAO. And you also saw a lot of transactions off the release of Casplex's second relaunch as well. So Casper's already proved to have the ability, or to see significant amount of adoption. Now, of course, that was on the spike of it, people just trying to try it out, see what it's like, see it's good, it's expected. Of course, will Casper be able to handle those, well, not handle, will it be able to conduct these sort of volumes and transactions consistently? Again, we can debate that. I would think probably a bit of a tall task, at least in the early stages. Give it a few months, maybe in a few years, I think quite comfortably. It can handle it. Will it be able to actually provide this, or will it be able to do this? Ethereum right now consistently above 1 million, and Casper do it consistently around 16 million. Right? Well, it depends on the level of adoption ultimately, but you're seeing that Casper's already sufficiently surpassing what the biggest platforms are doing in regards to volume and transactions, which is once more a testament to the belief in the project. Of course, this is a while back now. This is almost 9 months ago now, so you could very well see a lot less adoption in Casper now because people have got bored of the project or frustrated with the price not doing very well, which you can't change. But that was pre-10 BPS as well. Now you've got 10 BPS here as well. You're going to see an upgrade, and I think Casper, with its smart contracts coming out, you'll see more wandering eyes coming back to test it out, and then you'll see the adoption coming through and more in Casper transactions taking place within the ecosystem, because you've got a lot more coming out. In regards to that, Zeller swaps have surpassed 1,049,000 swaps, which is huge news for them. They've now got 87,600 unique users, with many more coming from other chains, which is bringing more attention to Casper. So you're seeing Zealous once more proven to be the leading DEX for Casper right now. Will it be the ultimate DEX going forward? Again, time will tell. But Zealous is doing a lot of very, very impressive things right now, proving itself to be the most dominant DEX right now. The Zero token is currently at $30.5 million market cap. Still starting to climb a little bit, but again, when the adoption really takes off, when the Casplex mainnet comes out, you'll see a lot more as well. And equally when Igra comes out as well, which will be in Q4, you'll see a lot more as well. And actually, seems to be potentially a sign here that the Casplex mainnet is not far off. As you can see here, verifying proofs for the ZK proofs. Proof is valid. This is through the Casplex DevNet though, not the testnet. But maybe they're doing the DevNet, then sending it to the testnet, and then they'll do it as a full mainnet release. So I'd like to imagine that we're a few weeks off. Of course, Casper and Johnny did state that they hoped and believed that you'll see this mainnet launch, these native smart contracts, before Q3. We are currently in Q3 now, the first day of Q3, so unfortunately did not meet that deadline. But I'd like to believe therefore it'll come out in July. Who knows, but maybe they're playing a little bit of a game, trying to release it around the testnet launch of Igra to try and steal more demand away. It would be an interesting competitive market strategy, to say at the very least. I think there's definitely an understanding within Casplex. There's a lot of competition and a lot of wandering eyes towards Igra, because Igra are, you know, with respect, doing a lot of stuff right now. And I'll get into this post a little bit later on as well, and probably cover it a bit more detail later on as well. Again, XXIM popping off once more, some interviews with some really, you know, inside the team with Igra here as well, talking about why they're exploring atomic possibility as the end game as well. Very, very cool stuff. We'll get into that in a moment, but I want to quickly come back full circle to talk about this before we get into some questions and come back to the rest of the sources. So this is once more from Shy here. Interesting. We were talking about Litecoin yesterday or the day before. That post that was made where it said that Litecoin is 100% better than Casper in all respects. And that article by the individual, which I got blocked on, despite never interacting with the guy, is full of misinformation and complete rubbish. And one element of that's just come to light right here is apparently Litecoin does not have RBF. RBF standing for replaced by fee. Now, that's a very, very shocking big deal and quite bad for Litecoin in that regard, which once more gives another level to Casper and its superiority. Now, what does RBF mean? What's that a big deal about? Well, explained here perfectly, effectively. So shout out to Emez Tech here. First wondering, RBF equals replaced by fee. If there's a transaction pending in the mempool and you submit another transaction using UTXOs that overlap with the previous transaction, but your newer transaction includes a higher fee, the new transaction can be accepted. So what does it matter? One major benefit is it helps preventing transactions from getting stuck. So RBF ultimately helps potential stuck of fees and transactions, and Litecoin does not have that. So, you know, just an expert on that Litecoin blog post taking pride in not having RBF, so you could put your trust in the mempools. Good will be is a testament to having given any pretense of being mathematically or money sound. I mean, yeah, it's perfect. You are putting full trust in mempools instead of having trust for yourself. You know, don't get me wrong. Trust is one of those things that you need to have trust in kind of life. You have to trust certain people, but there's only a certain amount of trust you give. You're giving all the mempools the power to do what they want with no RBF, and you're boasting about that. Again, do as you will, but Litecoin for me is not the project that I am bullish on. Is it going to do terribly? Is it going to fall off? I'm not going to say that. But I do think that the comparison that Litecoin is better than Casper. Litecoin's been out longer than Casper, and it's more expensive to hack. 51% of top attack cost, so it's got those benefits amongst other things as well, which we covered in the post previously as well. But all the elements that Casper is lacking in is because it's an early project. Give it a few months, give it a year, if even that, and you'll see Casper really start to take shape and start to sufficiently compete and comfortably surpass these other projects that are, you know, just without a better choice of words, lackluster, for reasons that are very diverse and more than it take me hours to get into. That being said, though, I'll get some more posts like this in a moment, this stuff in a moment. Before I do, let's get into some questions first and foremost. Technical analysis shows Bitcoin as a buy. I mean, yeah, I haven't looked too much in regards to elements like the RSI, Relative Strength Index, and other matches as well, but we can see right here, evidently, that this is definitely a very strong level of support and resistance for Bitcoin here around this 5 cent zone, and we're currently seeing it's, holding this loan right now. So provided we don't get any, again, shock events, which, knowing Trump, knowing America, who knows what's going to happen, but unless we get nothing like that, we should hopefully see Bitcoin reverse here and probably consolidating around this zone for the next few days or so, hopefully waiting for some very good macro data, some good announcements, and then we might see Bitcoin make the push towards all-time highs again. The one thing I can say with confidence, not financial advice, but with my personal confidence, that we are on the cusp of seeing a Bitcoin breakout, and that of course will cause all the cryptos to rally with it, and then hopefully we'll start seeing alts gain more dominance, especially if the ETF finance start getting approved. You'll start seeing the general, we'll call it the ETFs that get ETF finance will get more adoption, but you'll see a general acceptance and adoption for ETFs as a whole, or for altcoins as a whole, because they start realizing that altcoins start to get more institutional look in, which is very big. What's up, Delta? Paid research crypto equal paid influencer? Yes. I mean, I'm not entirely sure the context of what you mean by that. I mean, if you're paid to research crypto, then you're paid, I guess you're referring to Dr. Martin Heiberg in that regard then. So, because he's paid to be a crypto, he is the head of research at Uphold, so he's paid to research crypto. So he's a paid influencer. You could argue that. Yeah, I guess you could argue that. I guess it's not an unfair point to make. But I guess the difference being is that it's not a case of him being at some unknown small exchange. He's at Uphold Exchange, which is one of the most credible and biggest American exchanges. Now, again, that's not saying he is by all means omnipotent. He's always right. He is going to make mistakes. But I like to trust his beliefs. He's had a very... Again, one thing I've recognized, when I look at these researchers, I tend to always look at their track record as well. That's why I trust Eleanor Terrett. She's got a very strong track record, Eleanor Terrett, as a journalist. And so does Dr. Martin Heiberg as well, from what he's mentioned about. And he believes in Casper, which, I believed in Casper, I wouldn't say before him, but I believed in Casper before I knew of him. And seeing his support of it is just once more reassuring to me that, yes, you could argue the paid influencer, but I think he knows what he's talking about at least. How do you buy from Tangent Wallet through phone app? I have not done it myself, and I'm not doing too much detail, so I cannot say for sure, but I'm sure people in the community can help you out there, brother, because, I'm sure people have done it already, so by all means, check it out, ask them. Equally, ask in the Discord server. I'm sure someone has probably already done it in there as well and gives you some insight. Worrying about what Christine Lagarde and Europe are going to do about people's savings. Yeah, I know you sent me that earlier, Gosu, and I'm not remotely surprised. If you aren't aware what Gosu's talking about, Christine Lagarde apparently mentioned that they're implementing some form of mechanism of some sort where you're basically not allowed to save anything. If you are saving anything, like through a crypto exchange or whatever, for like 3 years, whatever it may be, or something along those lines, just saving your money, you're going to just lose it. They're not going to let you save. They want you to spend it and use it, which is just... It's a corrupt system. End of the day, it's a corrupt system. It's how they remain rich and how you remain poor. It's how you remain in the working class. They don't let you save. That's why, again, you have a Tangent Wallet, cold storage. You don't leave it on exchange because this stuff can happen. Don't trust centralized entities. Trust your own self. Can I stake my Casper? It's a good question. I don't know. I don't know if you can stake Casper just yet. I think there might be some platforms that are introducing that. I know you'll be able to do that through the Casplex layer 2 in the future. I'm sure that Zealous are introducing some features regarding that as well. But staking Casper would be quite an interesting, mechanism. And of course, it's now officially declared a non-security in the United States by the SEC, which is a very big thing. Or the act of stake is not a security. So that, I'm sure we'll find out more in the future. If not now, TP, I'm hopefully in the future. But, I'll do a quick search for it, but I don't think there is any ability to do that just yet. But at least I've not looked too much into it myself, at least. To my understanding, I don't think you can do it just yet. But I'm sure there'll be some staking features coming. That you might be able to do some form of elements of staking to Casper, maybe. Technically, you can mine Casper. You can do that sort of stuff. So mining it, minting it is a kind of a somewhat similar mechanism, but I'm sure again we'll find out more as the ecosystem starts to expand and develop more and more. But yeah, it would be a game changer, no doubt. What's up, Stack Bundles, bro? You're doing very, very well, brother. Welcome back to the stream. The big beautiful bill passed the Senate. The vote was 50-50, and Vice President Vance cast the deciding vote. Okay, well there you go. I think I saw something from Eleanor Terrett earlier, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure what the build is about. Let me quickly check it out, because I did see it whilst I was researching prior to the stream. That's not the right one. No, not there. Yeah, that was it. The amendment has failed in the 47 to 53 vote. That is regarding to the big beautiful bill. That was apparently it failed. That was 24 hours ago. So according to Cryptony, which again I haven't looked as more into it. This is just what I've seen from LNT's last update. Apparently it's now been passed at 50 to 50. But last we saw the amendment failed. Maybe I've seen it here and just glossed over it. More than 24 hours into the Senate amendment process, there's still no sign of Senator Lummis' crypto tax proposal. At this point, the window to get something to the floor may have closed. Okay. We'll hopefully find out more very soon then. But, I mean, either way, we'll see a lot more bills and announcements and developments from Congress and the United States government are happening throughout this month as well. I'm just glad they changed the public land part in the bill where they are going to sell some agriculture off. I'm pro the big beautiful bill. I mean, as long as they're making changes in respect to, in the eyes of the people, benefiting them, then that's all that really matters. Keep our land and get liquidity, couldn't ask for more. Very bullish indeed. When Casper ETF? Good question, Wing Hong. We don't know, unfortunately. Grayscale are still fading Casper, to put it bluntly. I'm sure you'll see Casper ETFs. I doubt you'll see in the cycle by this point, because again, this is the ETF list right now, and why it has drastically increased. You've got SUI, which is, I'd argue, HBAR, Polkadot, Avalanche, Cardano, Dogecoin, XRP, Solana. Like, these assets have been around for a long, long time. SUI is pretty much the only one that I am aware of that's a very new asset that has done very well. Of course, got a lot of VCs behind it, hence why they've got a 6% chance apparently of getting one. Or they have not got they're not CFTC regulated, so that just gives a disadvantage there. So we don't know about SUI. I'd be surprised if SUI gets one this cycle. If we do, then that'd be great for them, those who are holding it, which I'm still holding mine. I do plan to take profit this cycle though, probably take out completely. But I don't think we'll get Casper this year, but we'll probably get Casper later on once the adoption starts to come through with their smart contracts coming out as well. Proof of Stake ETF is terrifying. They make money in two different realms if they decide to dump. Oh yeah, it's very terrifying. Very, very terrifying indeed. But it will cause a big pump in the market, that's for sure at least. Hopefully they can put in competent regulations in place. Well, that's the hope as well. You can't have the smart money completely take advantage of all of us once again. Why is Proof of Stake ETF terrifying? Well, because they can make money through staking, and you got the insiders, right? All Proof of Stakes pretty much all have like 50% plus to the developers and insiders and the VCs. So they could always just rug pull you and dump you anyways. If you've got then ETFs coming through, so then you've got institutions who are taking up the rest of the supply, you've got even less for retail therefore. Let's just say, for example, it's a project, I'm going to just throw a project out, let's just say XRP, right? I don't know the whole ins and outs, but just saying, for example, XRP, 50%, 58% is to the insiders, let's just say. They get ETFs for XRP, you've got currently 30-40% to the retail, and then institutions will buy up from the retail, OTC, meaning even less available for the retail to get a hold of. So it means that it's even bigger chance that the insiders and the institutions will be able to just rug and just dump you whenever you want. That's why it's terrifying. It's proof of work like Bitcoin, or even Casper, and therefore, you have institutions probably buying up a lot of the supply, of course, with ETFs. But you won't have insider potentially also dumping and causing a forked attack, a pronged attack on the project and just dumping it. Yeah, there you go. That's exact example I gave there. People investing in dead tech projects pretending to be innovative. Exactly. What's up, Mr. Martha? You're doing very, very well about that. And you see Falcon Man, who's doing very, very well indeed. Damn, I'm really good at this. Yeah, it's like you're unnatural. Like you're always first somehow. Don't get it. We all know what proof of stake really means. Yeah, proof of scam, apparently. Main character in their own story. He's the main character. No, he's the main character in everybody's story. Everybody's story. In my opinion, as much as we love Casper, Bull One portfolio should be at least 70% Bitcoin, 20% only for alts. If the alts starts, you can always rotate. It's not a bad strat. Again, everyone has their own investment strategies. I think holding a lot of Bitcoin is not a bad strat because it's deemed as the safe haven for crypto and pretty much quote unquote guaranteed to make gains. Of course, it's not financial advice. I don't own too much Bitcoin personally, because I have faith in the altcoins and what I hold, which I do hold some XRP and some Sui and some Sei, not Sei, sorry, I sold my Sei, and some Tau and some other ones as well that I haven't mentioned to my VIPs. Although I did end up deciding that I wanted to take some profits from my other ones earlier and buy more Casper earlier today because I thought, I deserve it. So my Casper portfolio's got a little bit bigger now. But again, everyone's different in their own portfolio strategies. You've got to do what's right for you. If that's being more safe with Bitcoin, that's fine. If you want to be more risky and try and follow gains regarding some proof of stakes, also fine. If you want to go for Casper, again, it's what's best for you. Of course, not financial advice. Kudos to the guy for admitting that he hadn't looked at Casper when he called it a scam. Very, very good indeed. Very, very good indeed. You reposted something about Casper a few minutes ago. Oh, let's have a look real quickly then. Yeah, definitely kudos to him for actually admitting he's wrong, or he hadn't looked into it. It takes balls, because not a lot of people actually can be asked to do that. They just feign ignorance and that's it. That's not the one I'm guessing you're referring to. That's May 2nd. Study Casper, think Casper. Oh, he posted this. Oh, wow. Well, that's a big deal then. Currently, I'm studying Casper, not so I can sell my Bitcoin and move to a new coin, so I can understand different technologies at a deeper level, have better intellectual conversations, and not be so ignorant. And yeah, just quoting the individual here. So yeah, and you put that as well. So yeah, that's huge. So absolutely wild how much more engagement I get on X when posting about Casper versus Bitcoin. Interesting times. I mean, hey, Casper, the one thing that I think all people can attest to as well, the Casper community is unrivaled. The amount of engagement you get when talking about Casper is insane because the community is borderline a cult, but I like to believe all of us understand what we're holding, not following blindly. When I'm going to get a ton of hate for this. When I became a Bitcoin maxi for what Bitcoin was supposed to fix, the quality of money, the fact that over 80%, soon to be 95% of my wealth is stored in Bitcoin, and I plan to continue to accumulate daily. However, when we maxis say everything is a distraction and we should only stay laser focused on Bitcoin, in my opinion, this creates blind spots. We end up potentially following the crowd, and it's a great crowd to be honest, but this is where I think that we can better help the world adopt our money. Well, there you go. That is, I'm not going to get to the whole post, but I guess you can already see where it's going from. Him saying, I'm a Bitcoin maxi, always been in Bitcoin, hold a lot of my wealth in Bitcoin, but understanding that you should not follow them, as Bitcoin was meant to be a hedge against the monetary system and not follow the distraction, he's now doing the exact same thing, but with Casper now. He's studying Casper, not to sell my Bitcoin so I can move to a new coin, but to understand different technologies at a deeper level, have a better intellectual conversation, and not be so ignorant. That is really, really good. And you'll see many more Bitcoin maxis and other people also follow a similar strategy, so that's great to hear. I think that deserves a follow, in my belief. Great to see that sort of stuff. And again, I stated something in my community earlier as well. Which was I was saying it to Greg when me and him were having a nice little conversation, which is acceptance is the biggest path towards growth, and soon everybody will see that feigning ignorance was unwise, and he's done that here. He's accepted that he was wrong and didn't look into Casper, and he's now not feigning ignorance anymore. He's looking into Casper, just not to get into it, but just to understand more about the project, and he might change his mind later on. But that in itself is really, really good. So, love to see that all in all. Sorry, I'm getting a business message. Okay. Right, let's get some more posts real quickly before we get into more of the questions, and then I'll be wrapping up in the next 5-10 minutes or so. But again, it's good to see what's happening right now. When smart contracts, we haven't got an update right now. Igra's testnet's coming up next month, and we're seeing this post from Casplex that does suggest that we may be seeing mainnet coming soon. I'd like to believe in July as well, but time will tell. Hopefully next month, or hopefully, July's this month now, so hopefully this month we'll see something. That being said, let's get some more posts here. So Rusty Casper version 1.0.1 has been released. This version removes the obsolete dust prevention mechanism and allows for easier work with multiple output transactions. It also includes some dead wallet related updates that can be read here. So again, I'm not going to go too much into detail of this, but it's again good to see them making continuous updates to make Rust even more seamless and efficient. We can see more posts once more about the adoption of Casper, how we do believe as a community they're going to be adopted worldwide and soon enough. Crypto.com saying which crypto community, patience will pay off soon. To me, it's no other than Casper. like we have been probably the most patient and frustratedly patient community out there, waiting for listings, waiting for attention and adoption, building continuously. It's going to happen in due time. And Crypto.com made a load of posts recently, kind of somewhat hinting at Casper. The digital silver post, which was one of their most biggest posts, bigger than a pin post in such a short span of time. And now they've got this post here as well, 123k. And of course, everyone's reposting Casper. It's I love my community. I love this community. We are as one, united, trying to learn more. And of course, my algorithm's going to be, to Casper. Makes sense, of course. So I see more about Casper. But either way, it's fantastic to see. And I'm sure these people who are running this account are recognizing this and telling their higher ups about Casper. They did a landing page for Casper. They know about it. We had another post here from Cas Media on why Binance taking so long to list Casper and who is the second largest holder of Casper, which again is a 40-minute article. I'm not going to do the whole details of it. It covers what we already know about the Wolfie conversation with XXIM with Ankit, when they were talking about the whole element of Bitcoin, how they've been working for a long time. They're still not understanding exactly when they're going to list, but it should, they're still very much talking to Casper, and hopefully we'll see something very, very soon. The mystery wallet number 2 highlights here that, it's still not entirely sure who it is. People are saying it could possibly be Binance, compared to this Casper. However, Casper Class points out exchanges typically don't accumulate this much Casper for a simple spot listing. They require reserve shares, but not on this scale. So it indicates more towards a strategic market maker. So again, you've got the likes of DWF Labs, thanks to KEF, you've got who are the most active liquidity providers in the crypto space, operating across more than 60 exchanges, including Binance, OKX, Bybit, and Coinbase Futures. And of course, but Coinbase Futures does already have Casper, and Binance as well. And so it's most likely, it might be DWF Labs, it might be Wintermute as well. Of course, they started accumulating in March of 2024, so it's been over a year now. But again, the whole article I'll post in my community once more. And we're just seeing again the talk about potentially us seeing Binance soon enough, hopefully. Wallet 2 probably being a market maker, which will be utilized for listings. We're seeing potential explosive, evolution as well in the ecosystem for Casper as well. What's about to come out very, very soon. Igra Labs, Casplex, and much, much more. I'm still waiting patiently for the roadmap from Tom Polinsky and Michael Sutton regarding what's coming to Casper, because I'd like to see where they project what's coming out when. Here's an overview of what's currently out and happening in Casper right now, from community and social media platforms to gaming and entertainment to real world applications to the infrastructure projects like KRI, Casplex, Igra, Sparkle, Casperbot, that sort of stuff as well, which is really, really good to see. And continuation, we've got the post here I mentioned, where Igra are exploring atomic possibility and what is the end game with them with Casper, exploring the hot topic about atomic possibility from synchronous to asynchronous possibility to the challenges of roll-up centric architectures, particularly with the Ethereum ecosystem and how Casper's BlockDAG and GhostDAG paving the way for atomic possibility. Got more research to do still, but it's still good to see they are going on swimmingly and accordingly. Of course, mentioned this already, big news for Zealous. Chess on Casper's coming along, which is quite cool as well. Still very early beta, but still it's great to see that these sort of features are coming out. Just a nice little, little, not even a serious thing for Casper. This sort of stuff is a very small thing, but actually can do quite a lot of good. And the last thing I want to cover here, whilst I'm rambling through very, very quickly, is I'm going to summarize it very quickly. I'll probably make a video on it tomorrow. Robinhood recently just made a very, very big announcement. Announced tokenized assets on the layer 2 blockchain. Announced staking features, and also announced what was it? There's something else they announced as well, and I cannot completely remember. Tokenization, staking, and something else. But Robinhood did a very, very big update today. Good for them, doing a lot more. They're finally now above $90, which is above their IPO value, so they finally managed to recover from that, which is good for them. There with Robinhood, TradFi institutions are starting to engage in real-world asset scenarios, which will enable a large number of investors unable to purchase stocks to enter the stock market through blockchain platforms, which is huge. Stocks and crypto becoming one. In his view, Oyson Lee, CoinPal CEO, This is also another scenario besides payments where Casper can demonstrate its significant value. And this is what we were talking about earlier. Some of us in there alongside with Greg as well, which ultimately was highlighting that this post here, which we can see here, this is from Arbitrum, accumulates 72.8 million in revenue over the past year. However, 50% or 53.2 million of this amount is considered income cost, so the layer 1 settlement cost, and is attributed to Ethereum holders rather than an Arbitrum holder. So the whole post is from Binance Square, again available in my community. You can check it out there. I'm not going to do the full post because well, I can't look at Binance Square on my computer because I'm in the US. I'm in the UK, and UK does not allow Binance accounts because UK is fantastic. I have to use my VPN that's not on right now. But it's also been highlighting that, you know, a lot of the fees are taken from Arbitrum, but it's taken from it, which is, means that they're missing out on capital, missing out on money. And as Greg said here, which is fair, and I think it's a valid point, Casplex fixes this. And it's not just necessarily Casplex, it's Igra, it's Sparkle. Casper does fix this issue. You know, when you've seen this in scaling and adoption right now, you're going to see a lot more, which is fantastic. Looking forward to that. For Robinhood, great for Robinhood holders as well. But it could be, it could cause more problems down the line in regards to, again, just more selfish behavior from these platforms who are just going to steal capital from, the actual main chain. And of course, Casper with the layer 1.5 will fix that. It's very apparent that, Casper, with its architecture, with its technology, its fundamentals, will also massively reduce the costs. Not just it would be expensive how much they're taking, reduce the cost as well. So that if there's a mass migration of Ethereum layer 2s onto Casper, then in that sense Casper could fix that. Now, of course, it's a question of whether the layer 2s will come to Casper or they try to suppress it. Again, it's always that question of what if. Still hard to say, but I think Casper has got a very strong shout. I think they're going to push through and prove everybody wrong in this cycle, and equally the years to follow as well. The KRI is going to give them some real adoption as well. You've got to remember as well, people say Casper's going to fade off. I understand the sentiment. I do see the concerns in that, but you've got to understand the KRI. They're going to get Casper institutional adoption anyways. ZETEX, Warp Core, Gigawatt, Asset Mint. Except the last one, Asset Mint, the first three, ZETEX, Gigawatt Stablecoin, and Warp Core, all coming out Q4 this year. And these markets should be reaching 3 trillion by 2028. So Casper's going to be an integral part of these markets in this year going forward. So in that regard, Casper's going to get the adoption of institutions, and then it's a case of just spreading it out wider as well. So I'm not worried about Casper, not in the slightest. I think he'll do fantastic. And that said, I'm going to get some more questions real quickly, but I do have to dip off quite abruptly, so if I miss some, I apologise, but I'll make sure to get round to them tomorrow if you remember your question. Casper indeed, yes, BTM Casper indeed, Casper will take off. I would love for it to take off this month indeed. It would be very, very good and much needed. Long waited. Casper can take off on its own if DeFi will spike on it, or if exchanges list it. Besides, it only after Bitcoin dominance can expect Casper rally. I mean, yeah, I think Casper will take off. It's a matter of if, it's a matter of when, not a matter of if. It'll take some time, but you have got a lot of catalysts for Casper that can take place this month and this year. So, I'm not, again, sky's the limit, right? Sky's definitely the limit. Hopefully Wall Street bets will kick in soon. I mean, again, we know Wall Street know of Casper. Again, you got the Marathon, Digital Holdings, first time ever mining Casper. While they have faded Casper a lot recently, they have mined Casper. So BlackRock, those people do know of Casper. They're part of, they're working with Zodiac Custody as well. So it has connections to Securitize, to 21 Shares. Casper is in the circles, not deeply, but they are there. They are recognised. People will start joining the bandwagon like V here, accepting who Casper is or what they are trying to bring. Again, their technological and lack of marketing could be an issue for them, but I hope it's going to change soon. EU will do regulatory bad stuff, crypto, so much they'll fall behind the world. I do believe so as well, Ton on that. I do believe so, yeah. I think that EU have the advantage of being first movers, so they've got that advantage of being the first mover of the MiCA regulations, but they are so rigid and strict and so restrictive that it's going to end up, I think, making them fall behind as well. People are going to just leave the EU because they're like, well, why am I staying in the EU when I can't do anything with it when I can go to the United States or Dubai or Japan or Singapore and they are so much more accepting of crypto and how it works. So also perp decks like Hyperliquid, also AMM decks like Uniswap, I think, and more will come later. Good luck freezing people's assets and self-custody decks. Exactly. Completely agree there. Bitcoin maxis are selfish and scared of Casper. I agree, Ollie, but hopefully more are going to start, again, not feigning ignorance anymore and start to accept what they're looking into. Looking more into Casper. What's up, Gazzy bro? You're doing very, very well, brother. All the paid shill normie influencers are being paid to ignore Casper and push all the most useless, vaporware, VC Ponzi coins. I know this for a fact. Well, I don't know this for a fact, but I choose to believe that it's a possibility because there are a lot of projects out there that are just terrible who are, getting a lot of adoption because they're being shilled by somebody because they're getting paid to do so. So, yeah. Check out Lithium Finance. Get a little bag. I'll check it out real quickly as I'm about to wrap up today's stream. Facts, over feeling sorry, but XRP, RCP are all useless AI, and FOMO will be the next monster. Wannabes are textbook worthy Ponzi schemes. They will all dump hold on people in 2026 and move on to the next scam. Potentially. Again, I think we'll have to wait and see. I do think that a lot of the assets will go to zero. I do think a lot of them will go to zero. I'm guessing you're talking about this one. I have no idea. I think some of them also have got very deep pockets though. I think XRP, despite its I'm not sure what you're referring to. Might be in this one, I'm not sure. But I think as XRP, they're so deeply rooted. Ripple is such a big company that I think it'll be very, very hard for XRP to just completely fall off. It can. I definitely think it can. And I'm not saying it won't. But I think XRP has got too much. I mean, again, they've acquired Hidden Road, a prime brokerage. They're working alongside Bitstamp, which is now being acquired by Robinhood as well. They've got some good partnerships. It's all I can put it. They're working with They've been partnered with Bank of America apparently for a very long time. So the way I put it is their partnerships alone could give them a good standing, but they will probably be replaced by better assets anyways that actually are not scams or Ponzi schemes as people put it, like Casper therefore. I need an Igra badge as we do all. I heard yesterday in the banter that Igra is going to do a pre-sale and you can sign up through Wolfie Discord. Yes, that is true. And you have to have a Wolfie NFT to be able to partake in the. I mean, that's also. I think the information is already available in my Discord server anyway, so you can find it out there. But yeah, you can find it out through there. You can do Wolfie NFT. You should get one of those. Then you can partake in the pre-sale. There's not much left to my knowledge though, so you've got to be quick. What's going on with Nacho? Is Shy dumping his bags? Shy has no connection to Nacho whatsoever. The trouble is just people just don't like Shy, so just saying he's making trouble. I don't think Shy's done anything. People were upset because Shy had an AMA with QAI like the other day, and they're like, he's left the project. I'm like, he can do what he wants. Leave the man alone. Shy's not said anything really wrong. He's been saying some stuff in his Telegram, which I've been kind of half glossing over. I've just kind of ignored it as well. He's not really trying to cause trouble in my belief. But I don't think he has no connection to Nacho whatsoever. He has no, apart from the name of the cat, there's no correlation whatsoever. And I think Nacho's going to do very well still. Yeah, exactly. That being said though, thank you all once more for watching today's Casper and Crypto live stream. If you enjoyed, leave a like, share with your friends and subscribe for more Casper. Hopefully, and I believe so, more adoption, more recognition. Again, stuff is in the works. Casper is going to pop off. I'm hoping this month will be a big month for Casper, provided we do get a Bitcoin breakout. The market says we will do, the M2 says we will do. Things are on the horizon, so just stay tuned. Don't be emotional, be logical, keep doing your research. Want to learn more about crypto and capital, the free Discord server. Equally the VIP, more information in there as well, a lot more alpha information in there as well, what's coming to the space and regarding crypto as well, get ahead of the game. Affiliate link down below, BYDFI, you can get extra trading fees, whatnot, extra discounts on trading fees and whatnot, so much more to come. That being said, have a great day, evening and good night, and I'll see you all in the next